Cool, that fits. You know it's Mother's Day on Sunday, right?
Yeah, you're right. We should probably make a move on that, eh? G'day Internet, and welcome to a very special episode of Morgan Makes. My name's Morgan, and today is the 8th of May 2022, and that means in Australia it's Mother's Day. So, hi Mum, happy Mother's Day, I love you, let's make you a present. Okay, so Mum likes to make jewellery, and I figure she could use a mannequin hand to display some of that jewellery for sale. So, let's make her a mannequin hand. I downloaded some STLs from Thingiverse, and printed them out, here we go. That's all the parts that we need. Got some hat elastic, a lot of hat elastic, more than I actually needed, and we're going to string it all together. Mum upcycles, repairs and cleans old jewellery and then sells it on Facebook Marketplace to support a local animal shelter. I'll include the link to the original Thingiverse file in the description. And now comes the tedious task of threading all the fingers together with the hat elastic. And it took a little bit. It took about an hour actually to get it all together, and tied them off onto this little strut that is printed through the wrist. Get them all tensioned up correctly. The cool thing I like about this model is that there are no nuts and bolts in the build. It's all just elastic and fabric type stuff. And we'll just speed things along here a little bit, so fast forwards. So you can see it uses the elasticity and the geometry in order to create the articulation and movement. So that means one down, 4 more to go. I had to try and guess how much elastic I needed for each finger by measuring it, sort of, roughly by eye, and they were a little bit short, some of them, but we made it work. It was okay. There was just something mildly off-putting about sitting there with a tin full of fingers, but now it's time to start grafting them to the hand. I have to thread each individual piece of elastic down through the appropriate holes and tie them off on the strut that's printed across the wrist. My fingers turned out to be just a little bit too big to fit inside the wrist cavity, which is why I wish I made the elastic a bit longer. Again, it was a tedious process, but the more pieces that we added, the more fun it was to play with. I did a lot of experimentation here trying to get the tension of the fingers right. Alright, rock and roll. Looks like it's time to put some skin on this. And by skin, I mean a costume glove I got down at the party store. The material wasn't overly durable, but it was good enough for our purposes. I'm just going to take that out of there. That was satisfying. And we're just going to gently stuff it on in. I have a whole new respect for the people who dress the mannequins at the retail stores now. Trying very careful not to rip my party glove here. Like I said, the material was only thin. And success. And the tension's really good with the glove on there too. So all the fingers, you know, they got a fair amount of movement in there and they feel natural. They stay where they're put, kind of. And, you know, it all works. It's working. I like it. And now you're thinking to yourself, Morgan, what are you going to do with the pool noodle? Well, I was thinking I was going to make a wrist, but I just ended up making a mess. The idea was to hack it down into a rough shape and then cover it in the other glove. Yeah, that didn't really pan out, did it? It's orange, lumpy, and doesn't fit. No joke found. Yeah, so I just kept hacking and hacking and hacking away at it, cut it in half, and yeah, that didn't really make any kind of improvement, and at the end of it I just had to throw that bit out. So the next idea was maybe I could anchor something to that little wrist stud with some black armature wire that I got from the dollar store, and yeah, that didn't work either. So I cut the middle finger off the left-hand glove and going to feed the armature wire through it, and then I'm going to try and feed the pool noodle over that, and yeah, it just lumpy mess. I have no idea how I ever thought this was going to work, or how I even thought this was a good idea to start with. But here we are, and we're about to meet a personal failure. But we try again, because we always try again here. Yep, so our mannequin has a thick, lumpy orange arm. Yeah, that's just not going to cut it. We're going to have to try this again. So bring on the teddy bear guts. A couple of dollars worth of cotton balls should make good stuffing. And And at this point I was thinking maybe I could use the wire that I had previously used to add some sort of rigidity to the teddy bear stuff, but no, I'm going to get rid of that eventually too. And I'm just going to grab big old handfuls of cotton balls and stuff them all in there. And then I'm going to try and massage them out as best as I can. I'm going to try and get something of a relatively human looking shape out of this thing. But it's still really, really lumpy. Even under 2 layers of gloves, the cotton balls were still really lumpy. So I was thinking to myself, maybe I need to break down the cotton balls and make it actually a little bit more like teddy bear stuffing. Like what the dog keeps leaving me every time she destroys one of her toys. But that's exactly what I did. I pulled apart all the remaining cotton balls from the bag, like I was doing pulled chicken. And then I had a really big pile of pulled cotton balls. Gonna take the first cotton balls out and then stuff the new cotton fluffy mixture in. It's still a little bit lumpy, but it's a significant improvement onto the hard cotton balls. So we're just going to run with it. Maybe we can iron it all out later. And I'm going to try and decrease the amount that you actually notice that wrist joint there by trying to stuff every little tiny seam into the wrist. And this probably was the most difficult part of the entire build, was trying to get this part right. And I went through a few different ideas, some of which I did show, some of which I won't show. But, you know, at the end of it, we finally got there at the end, where I had to learn some sewing. Just another reason I'm always thankful for Mum. She always does my sewing for me. But I did this one myself, and you can see that it's ugly. But I got better by the end of this project. It's a learning curve, and that's what we do here. We learn things. So then I settled upon how I was finally going to do this. I ran some extra long pieces of elastic around that hub and I thread them through a paper straw, poked a hole in the big pillow that I'd made and threaded them through. And I'm going to use a spare knuckle from a failed bit of the 3D print, but it's still good for this, to hold it all in place. And you know, it's just going to act like a tensioner on that side. There we are, just going to thread that spare finger joint on there and that's going to hold all that in place. Beautiful. Love it. Okay, we're just going to thread that through there, tighten it all down, tension it all up, thread this glove down gently, so we don't tear it. You know, we only have the one. We get past all the little sharp joints on the fingers there, get it all nice and settled into place, and that's looking really good. I actually like that. Wrist is still a little bit lumpy, but it'll shape out. It'll shape out. I think we're done here. That's looking real good. I then went and picked 3 random projects that Mum just had laying about on her workstation, and here we are on display. Yeah, we always need that thumbnail. Don't worry, I put everything back where I found it. Oh yeah, it's finally done. Time to shoot the outro. You could at least put a good shirt on. Yeah, no, that's fair. And there we go. One articulated mannequin hand. It was more of a challenge than I thought it would be to make, but still a lot of fun. I hope she enjoys it. Anyway, I've been Morgan. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Mum, happy Mother's Day. Take it easy, guys. I'll see you next time.
Very good boy. Billy's a lovely boy. Yeah, good boy, Billy. Good boy, Billy. Oh, yeah. Good boy, Billy.